Welcome, everyone. It's great to have you here for the Global Impact Award activities, and we're so excited to be here for the second year. And Seren and Jazz, thank you for being with us. I'm Holden Thorpe, and I'm the provost, and it's really just my job to welcome you. But the Chancellor is also here, and he wants to bring a few remarks. And you might notice that we're both wearing double-breasted suits today. So that means after his remarks, we'll be performing a few selections from Guys and Dolls. So, Chancellor Mark Wrighton.
I love it. There's entertainment too.
I was going to say the provost is learning. It's really great to have this opportunity to hear these kind of wrap-up presentations, the elevator pitches. It's going to be very stimulating, I know, and I want to thank those who are presenting for being here and being so creative. It was just last year around this time that we launched this very important Global Impact Awards program that's been funded by Seren and Jazz, and I'm deeply grateful to both of you for the tremendous support that you have provided to us. Not only the philanthropic support, but your sharing of time and wisdom and experience with us is such a valuable contribution. We look forward to many other occasions where you'll be with us for this very important program. Even in the 1 year since we've had this program, exciting things have been happening here in St. Louis owing to the growth of the innovation and entrepreneurship community. At Bridge Park near the Donald Danforth Plant Science Center, and certainly at the Cortex Innovation Community, a lot is happening. Ikea has opened. I didn't understand Ikea, but now I'm getting a better appreciation for it. One of my colleagues shared that they didn't realize that once you go in, you have to go through the entire store, which I think is a pretty innovative approach to making sure you see everything, and it takes a while to get through. But more important, of course, the Cortex Innovation Community is now chock full of new enterprises, some mature corporations that have decided that they're going to have their innovation center located, at least in part, in the Cambridge Innovation Center of St. Louis. So things are happening, and it makes for a very vibrant community. We've received a great dean in Aaron Bobick to succeed Ralph Quatrano, who assisted in building momentum in our programs in innovation and entrepreneurship. And with Aaron's evident enthusiasm for what we're doing, I know that at least our School of Engineering and Applied Science will continue to be very active in encouraging the development of new enterprises based on advances in research and based on fundamentally good ideas that come from members of our community. And I think that we have a great chance here to build considerably on the momentum that's been built. Holden Thorpe is critical. He has been instrumental, of course, in recruiting Emery Toker, Mike Kench, and we're also fortunate to have Dedrick Carter in a leadership role. So we built a great team, and they're on the move in a lot of respects. So our momentum is growing, and I think this Global Impact Awards program will also grow in significance over time. And of course, we hope to see from these awards that we stimulate greater interest in starting new enterprises that are going to have global impact. One of the things that we need to do in our community is to help and build employment opportunities for a large segment of our community, and there's an opportunity for us to make a contribution in developing these enterprises that will provide meaningful employment for people right here in St. Louis. So thank you all for gathering this afternoon. I'm excited to hear additional remarks from our benefactor and perhaps Jazz as well. But Seren and Jazz, thank you very much for being with us in person. Your commitment is very impressive, and we're grateful for it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. And now we're going to hear from Seren and Jazz. Are you as well? Great.
Chancellor Iden, Provost Thorpe, judges, members of the selection committee, and ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming here for celebrating the second year of the Global Impact Award. We want to thank 5 outstanding members of the selection committee: Emery Toker, Eldar Korsevic, Jim Mersunas, Dugan Sherwood, and Ken Harrington. We also want to acknowledge and thank our 5 distinguished judges who heard the 6 finalists for the Global Impact Award: David Smaller, Phil Needleman, Tim Sturr, Scott Bernstein, and David Carandish. Ladies and gentlemen, we are grateful to these 12 persons. Please recognize these folks for their time and support of the Global Impact Award. We are pleased with the progress made in fulfilling our dream of giving back to my alma mater, an institution that has helped me a lot in many different ways, for which I am grateful. I was so happy when I walked in this room to see the gentleman that I've always considered the most important figure at Washington University, Jim McKelvey, and his wife, Judy McKelvey. So, Dean McKelvey, I'm delighted you are here. This award holds a special place in my heart. It's not about simply writing a check and then walking away. It's about learning, sharing, meeting others, and getting involved. I love this approach because it means that you are not making a one-time gift. You are giving back to the community at large with a new gift every day through your actions, your talents, your connections, and resources. Over the years, I have concluded that entrepreneurship is the most powerful paradigm for eradicating poverty, creating jobs, developing human capital, facilitating economic development, and even bringing about social change. My passion for entrepreneurship stems from the belief that politics and religion divides people, but creation of wealth unites people. It took us a fair amount of effort, and frankly, it's not an exaggeration to say countless hours, to conceive and implement the Global Impact Award. Ken Harrington, Scott Ward, and several others. We worked together for many, many hours to finally come up with this concept of the Global Impact Award based on 4 ideas. 1, solve a real-world problem using technology. We wanted to encourage disruptive ideas that will spur economic growth and positively impact millions around the world. 2, we wanted to make sure that this isn't just about writing a check or giving away money, but it also provides mentoring to finalists. Selection committee works with the finalists in developing their ventures. 3rd, it involves an entrepreneur with a team that can execute and has a startup that has the potential of scaling and growing into profitable ventures. And 4th, and the final factor that's very much a part of this idea of the Global Entrepreneurship Award, is that we want entrepreneurs who not only are going to be successful in creating jobs, generating wealth for their stakeholders, but will be committed to giving back to their communities by serving as inspirational role models for the next generation of entrepreneurs. In other words, putting simply, we hope that when successful, they will seriously consider giving back to the Global Impact Award Fund so collectively we can help many other entrepreneurs. We were crystal clear in one respect. This is not simply an idea of a social entrepreneurship. This Global Impact Award is primarily about entrepreneurship and virtual cycle of wealth creation. Jazz and I want to convey our heartiest congratulations to 6 finalists. As most of you know, Washington University contributes greatly to Greater St. Louis community. Mark has often reminded me that we cannot solve all problems in the community, but I think I'm quite mindful of, and I was told about some of the things that we do and the impact we have last Saturday evening by Tom and Jen Hillman of the role that we play and the impact that we have in Greater St. Louis. In fact, Scandalera Center, in my opinion, has played a pivotal role in developing what is clearly a vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem in St. Louis today. I sincerely hope that under the aegis of the Scandalera Center, we will continue to provide leadership in Greater St. Louis for fostering innovation and entrepreneurship that will spur economic growth. So I want to leave you with a few parting thoughts. Will we dream big? Will we inspire the budding entrepreneurs and drive the next generation of startups? Will we help solve the real world problems and help the humanity? This is my wish. I hope we can walk away dreaming big and audacious in our relentless pursuit to create scalable and sustainable ventures that will have a large impact. Thank you, and I wish you all a very pleasant evening. Jess? I think
Okay, great. So we're all so excited, and it's been so great to be here for the second year of Emery Toker, who has come with great enthusiasm and energy and new ideas and built upon the great work that Ken Harrington and others did to set up the Scandalera Center. So it's my pleasure to introduce Emery Toker, the director of the Scandalera Center.
Good evening. My name is Emery Toker. I'm the director of the Scandalera Center for Interdisciplinary Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And I also want to repeat my thanks to Suren and Jess, to the 19 teams that entered the Global Impact Awards, to all the mentors who helped train them, to my colleagues at the Scandalera Center, to the selection committee, as well as the judges. So now we get to the interesting part of the evening. Each of these 6 finalists are going to present their concept in 2 minutes. Unfortunately, we only have 2 minutes per team. So in no particular order, I'll invite Arc Diagnostics as the first team to tell us about their venture, please.
It's very likely that 3/4 of us in this room are infected with the John Cunningham virus. Now don't worry. If you're not immunocompromised, the JC virus can't cause you any health problems. But for the 40 million people worldwide who are immunosuppressed, the JC virus is a big concern. Any patient that has a disease that suppresses the immune system or wants to take a drug that's immunomodulatory is at risk of developing a severe and potentially fatal neurological complication caused by the JC virus. And the problem is that right now, there's no way to predict which patient is at risk of developing this complication. Arc Diagnostics wants to change that. We are building JC Verify, which is a diagnostic test which can identify which immunosuppressed patients are at risk of complications for the JC virus. JC Verify can do 2 things. First, if a patient wants to take an immunosuppressing drug, for example, if a patient has multiple sclerosis or leukemia, that patient can have access to information about their risk before starting treatment, which can increase the access that patients have to some of the most life-saving therapeutics that are out there. The second thing JC Verify can do is provide information to patients who cannot change their immunocompromised status. For example, a patient living with HIV/AIDS. For them, the JC Verify can allow them to identify their risk of JC virus complications and take preventative steps in order to remain healthy. Arc Diagnostics is a team of industry and academic scientists, and we're competing for the Global Impact Award today because we are hoping that it will help us restore peace of mind to the immunocompromised. Thank you very much.
The next team to present is Mecca Graph, please.
Hi, thank you, Emery. I'm representing Mecca Graph. We are a team of engineers that are developing an innovative software tool to help cardiologists better diagnose a very serious heart condition called diastolic dysfunction. We're lucky to collaborate with cardiology researchers at WashU that have patented a mathematical model that can improve diagnosis of this disease. They have 18 years of research backing up this model of characterizing your heart's left ventricle. And we have developed this software to hopefully enter this $2 billion echocardiography market. So as many of you know, heart failure is a serious health condition. 1 in 9 people die from heart failure. What you may not know is that half of this is caused not just by your heart's inability to pump, but by your heart's inability to relax and let blood flow into your heart before actually pumping it. So half of heart failure is caused by this, and cardiologists use echocardiography to diagnose this. However, even the best cardiologists don't know how to diagnose 20% of these patients. And so we're using this software tool to help fill that gap for the 20%. Right now, cardiologists might have to use catheterization instead, which is invasive and more expensive to try to understand what's going on in the heart. And what's worse, 80% of the world's cardiologists are only in high-income countries. So we have been developing this software to allow general physicians to also better understand heart health, and then we can also help developed countries understand their hearts as well. So we would like to license our tool to hospitals across the world and hopefully improve diastolic dysfunction diagnosis, and we could end up saving millions of lives based on how extensive this problem is. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from MD Handoff, please.
Hi, my name's Lee. I'm one of the internal medicine residents over here at Barnes Jewish Hospital, and I am one of the co-founders of MD Handoff. We are a software IT company that is developing software to improve patient transfer of information in between hospitals. Currently, there are 1.5 million patients that are transferred between hospitals every single year. They're transferred from local community hospitals to larger academic centers, and usually the reason for transfer is a higher acuity of illness that local hospitals cannot handle. The issue is when these patients arrive at these receiving hospitals, the physicians that see them cannot see the patient data or the electronic data that was gathered at their original hospitalization at the community. As a result, what is usually done is the patients come with a large stack of paper documents. These can be 10, 50, 100 pages long and be bloated with information that is completely irrelevant and can distract from the clinically important information that the physicians want to get to. The solution that we're proposing here is a central receiver, firstly, for a place where all this documents can be received digitally. So instead of having fax machines where this information is sent, it'll be sent digitally into our central receiver. Second, we will be applying our proprietary software, which will analyze these documents and extract clinically relevant data. It will remove the noise that clinicians no longer need to use and then sort these documents into clinically relevant categories such as doctor's notes, labs, medications, and allergies. The result of this will be reduced lab tests, reduced redundant lab tests, and also increased physician productivity And ultimately, this will reduce the number of adverse events and unintended adverse events that occur to patients every single day. We are a team of physicians, MD PhDs, and computer scientists with the goal of crafting software that will ultimately improve patient care, reduce costs, and continue to move towards a unified healthcare system. Thank you.
Next to present is Applied Particle Technology.
Hi there, my name is Joshi Fang, and I'm one of the co-founders of Applied Particle Technology. And we spend about 90% of our time indoors, and this air is oftentimes much more polluted than even the worst outside air. In fact, every time you breathe, you can be inhaling millions of particles in a single breath. And these pollutants can include particles, bacteria, viruses, and even carcinogens. Now, it's really difficult to purify this air because it takes up a lot of energy. You actually have to pump and push this air through these media-based filters, which have a lot of pressure drop. In fact, it can contribute up to 15% of a building's electricity bill. Now, the reason why it's so hard is because a lot of the HVAC engineers only have old technology to rely on, and they're not very effective. So we've developed a patented technology, which is a platform technology, and we're from the Energy, Environmental, and Chemical Engineering Department at Washington University, and we're PhDs in aerosols and air quality. So what we're doing now is we're working with hospital facilities mechanics and maintenance staff for our first test case to test our scaled-up prototype in these hospitals. Down the road, we're hoping to also target higher value air filtration markets such as clean rooms and aerospace filtration. So we're Applied Particle Technology, and with our system, you get better indoor air quality, a lower energy bill, and this is all towards cleaning the air you breathe. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Genioscopy, please.
Good evening, my name is Erica Barnell, and I'm here to tell you about genoscopy, which is a revolutionary method to diagnose colorectal cancer using non-invasive methods that evaluates the mRNA in stool samples. Currently, 130,000 patients are diagnosed with colorectal cancer each year, and more than a third of these patients actually die from the disease. And this burden falls on patients that are underinsured and underrepresented in these populations, including African Americans and Mexican Americans. The issues associated with diagnosing colon cancer is that we cannot catch it early enough, and that only 50% of the patients are actually compliant with screening mechanisms. This means that we need a new method to diagnose this disease. What we're proposing is a non-invasive method where patients can go home and provide a stool sample to us, send it to our labs, and they can determine if they have colorectal cancer. Beyond just determining this, we can actually dictate if we can visualize the cancer with a colonoscopy, or if we need to increase screening for these patients and actually look next year and see if the cancer has grown. Hopefully, genoscopy will improve patient compliance, reduce morbidity and mortality associated with colorectal cancer, and better the healthcare system in this country. Thank you.
And lastly, Passio, please.
Hi, my name is Andrew Yee, and I am co-founder of a venture called Passio Surgical Education, where we will be providing video education for surgical training with the fellowship to provide a lifetime fellowship with the rock stars of surgery. Now, there's a big problem right now in medicine, and right now I come from a background where I'm a director and producer, but my co-founder is Susan McKinnon, and she is chief of plastic surgery at WashU, but also she's the global rock star of nerve surgery. And together in the past 4 years, in collaboration with the medical students at WashU and the residents, we have forged a really great library of videos that really teach the subtle nuances of nerve surgery. And we have really great traction around the world and really great comments. But those comments really stem from one big problem in medical education today, and that is this. There's no real learning opportunity for physicians when they graduate the residency programs as well as their fellowship programs. And that is because this information is fragmented. It's really hard to find this information. And so our solution to this problem is to create a video education program with the experts, but not just the experts in medicine, but the rock stars, the best people for that. And we want to do this because revenue for the U.S. healthcare is moving towards a model of comprehensive care where best practices and best outcomes help dictate the reimbursements for them. And so to give you a quick stat, in terms of surgical complications, when that occurs, the total cost of care increases by 54%. And when you look at the U.S. Revenue for hospitals, there's a potentially $200 billion lost revenue. And so the rock stars have this information. They have the solution for this problem. But, however, they don't have the platform. And so what they really need is, what if there was a platform that allowed them to teach this information to their community, as well as allowing the community to connect with the rock stars. And this is where we present to everyone Passio Surgical Education as a platform to really create better and safer surgeons, but also to revolutionize the way the medical education is done today. Thank you.
So before inviting Jazz Grewal to announce the winner, I just have one short message to the 19 student teams that participated, and it is that the only judges that matter are your customers. So regardless whether you're a winner today or not a winner today, this is not the final call. It's the customers that will determine whether you will win in the marketplace or not. Jazz, it's been a pleasure working with you. I really appreciate all your help throughout the year and your guidance to make this program better and better with each going year. Please, thank you.
Thank you, Emery. Before I make an announcement on who the recipients of the Global Impact Award will be today, it's really with great joy that I share with you an update from our two winners from last year's Global Impact Award. Our judges last year selected 2 of the 5 finalists and awarded a $10,000 and a $40,000 prize. And I should also say that our teams were located across the country with one team based right here in St. Louis. Our $10,000 winner was Viflex, and they shared with us last week that they were able to scale in large part due to the funds that they received from the Global Impact Award. Viflex continued to improve their glasses design and build an injection mold for their eyeglass frames. They were a featured presenter at the Clinton Global Initiative University Conference, and they placed second in the Duke University Startup Challenge. Over the past year, Viflex has sent eyeglasses to Thailand, India, Nepal, and Brazil. Currently, they're preparing to order several thousand frames from the injection molding company in order to move forward on a partnership that they're establishing with the University of California, Berkeley School of Optometry. Our $40,000 winner was Nanopore Diagnostics. They were able to successfully leverage the validation gained from the Global Impact Award towards closing a $500,000 pre-seed funding round in December of last year. This funding led CEO Tom Cohen to leave his research position at WashU and go full-time at Nanopore Diagnostics. It also allowed for 2 additional hires, and the team set work on launching an R&D program that saw them validate their technology platform, as well as develop and demonstrate an assay for utilizing the proprietary technology to detect bacteria in minimally processed samples. This work led to a patent application, and the founding team quickly realized that it was time now to scale up and move forward. So a seed funding round was launched in May of 2015, and to date, $600,000 has been closed, and the team's actively pursuing additional opportunities. In addition, grant applications have been submitted to the NIH and Gates Foundation, which utilize the pre-seed R&D as the preliminary data. The seed funding is aimed at completing a clinical study with an academic partner, as well as furthering the technology platform towards commercial viability. There are strong corporate partnerships with corporations continue, and they continue to focus on device development and non-clinical sublicense opportunities. Seren and I are both pleased and really proud that both the companies are well on their way, which is exactly what the Global Impact Award is meant to do. It's meant to propel an idea forward and move the venture forward. Nanopore is really a great example of that. I mean, that's amazing that in 1 year they've been able to accomplish what they have. Now, back to this year's award. It was really difficult, I imagine, for all of the judges to sit through the presentations. You know, you had a 2-minute glimpse of what these teams presented, and they were really impressive. And I imagine that they had a hard time. Seren and I were not part of the decision-making process, but we had our own little discussion in our conference room. And I must say that even as we did last year, somehow when lots of folks feel the same way, I think you know that kind of the right decision has been made, perhaps. But I want to really encourage each and every team to not be discouraged, because you all have really great, big, bold ideas. Your presentations were incredibly professional, and if we could, I think we'd probably write a check for all of you. So having said that, I do hope that everyone in the audience has an opportunity to meet the teams and learn about their ventures, because your encouragement in interacting with these entrepreneurs really does make a difference. And I think collectively, if we all try to help in whatever way we can, the ventures are going to move forward, because their ideas really are going to make a difference. We had 5 outstanding experienced judges, and they decided this year to give one $50,000 award. And that award, I'm very, very pleased to say, is the 2015 Global Impact Award is for Applied Particle Technologies. So, gentlemen, Pratim, please come join us.
Okay, congratulations to all the teams and to Applied Particle Technologies. We look forward to seeing all the things that you guys are going to come up with and hearing about them as we go forward. This is a great example of all the things that we try to achieve here at Washington University. I came over here from a talk about the Declaration of Independence and the founding of America, which was making the point that the ideals in the Declaration of Independence of individuals knowing what's best for them more than anybody else is still a concept that works. It's just that we haven't extended that to everyone that we should have. And entrepreneurship is an embodiment of that as well, and we need to extend that to everyone who deserves to be part of innovation and entrepreneurship in America. And Jazz and Seren, you are helping us do that by creating this award. So bring as many folks into this process as you can, and congratulations to everyone who is involved, and please stay and visit with each other and congratulate the teams who participated. Thank you all.